Sorry, but I'm not as lenient as the Regent.
Theme-wise, Ergo Proxy has a wonderful classic concept to play with. What makes people who they are? What makes a person, for that matter, considering the debatable sentience of the auto-raves or the proxies? The series is at its strongest when drawing comparisons between auto-raves, humans, and proxies, when addressing the idea of, quote-unquote, programming.
You weren't worth what I sacrificed. But your death would have made my life meaningless. Why were you my master? Why did it have to be you?
It was so hard. I wanted to be with you no matter what.
Why did you have to be such a useless bitch?
Please don't hate me, Riel.
That said, it is a concept. It's not a question with an answer. Truly deep and timeless works of art take concepts like this, adopt a take on them, and allow you to answer the questions they pose based on what you see in the story and how it compares to real life as you understand it. Ergo Proxy treats its concepts as questions with answers, and it's gonna tell you exactly what those answers are without proving its relevance to the world it's created, and therefore explaining what the hell any of its blathering really means to us normal Joes. The characters don't seem like real people anymore due to the problems I mentioned earlier, so what does having them sit down and talk about the meaning of life matter to us?
I was there because I was told that someone reported an infected auto-rave.
Incorrect. It is not I think, therefore I am.
But I'm not lying. If you take a look at the facility's records...
Correct. The answer is I think, therefore you are.
Thanks for that, Mr. Ergo Proxy. I'll be sure to ace my next philosophy test now that I have the right answer. That would just make this heavy-handed rather than subtle thematically, and that's not too bad, but it gets worse when, as I mentioned earlier when talking about the plot, Ergo Proxy decides it wants to talk about a whole bunch of other things, and it strays from the main idea we were already finding a bit preachy. You already have an infinitely complex idea to explore, show. Don't waste your time dipping your toe into other stuff that you think you know so much about. There's a word for the thematic problems here. It's the same word I've been trying so hard to avoid using because I don't like it. It's frequently abused, but man, there's no other word for Ergo Proxy. It is just about the most pretentious goddamn anime I have ever seen. It has a lot to say and spends a lot of time saying it, but it's not successful at proving any of it. It overextends itself, assumes more than it's capable of handling with grace, and to me, that's what pretension means. Not something being really smart and symbolic and uppity and arty. No, that can be pulled off beautifully, even if it is obtuse. Ergo Proxy is not pretentious because it's smart. It's pretentious because it's not as smart as it thinks it is. Depth and profundity is natural, and for as much as it tries and as impassioned as it is, Ergo Proxy never comes off as natural. I'm sorry I'm so bitter, Ergo Proxy. It was a good relationship we had. I don't regret it for a second, but I knew if I came back to you, there'd be nothing more to gain, and that leaves your raison d'etre at a big and unfortunate question mark that not even you can answer. Trust me, I've seen you try. Ergo Proxy was originally released by Geneon Entertainment, went out of print, but Funimation has picked it up, rescued it, and released it for an affordable price nowadays, so it used to be impossible to find, but lucky you, as of recently, you can pick it up for cheap. Whew. No worries, guys. They accepted me as their queen. All in all, Ergo Proxy is a work of art worth its salt as dark entertainment, but too flawed to achieve poignancy, which is clearly what it's going for. Plot elements are hinted at, but not explained well enough to follow until they're dumped on us through forced, unnatural dialogue later, if the story doesn't just decide to take a break and do something entirely different for an episode. The characters begin as these diverse, complex cores, but quickly lose themselves to becoming mouthpieces for whatever the writers wanted to talk about in the moment. Preaching rather than proving, telling rather than showing, they just don't seem like human beings anymore. The profound themes and motifs we start with overextend themselves and force the story to bite off more than it can chew, and neglect its strengths. If you're a fan of cyberpunk or post-apocalyptica sci-fi, this will give you a lot to enjoy and a fair amount to chew on, but for everyone else, this is too much of a mess to reward the patience you're gonna need to understand what the fuck's even going on. I give this admirable disaster 2.5 lol-deep platitudes.
If you can't find the answer yourself, then asking me is pointless. You're not capable of understanding yet. To observe is to create perspective. I can never cease to be the point of origin from my perspective. To bring us into this tethered system we call life, someone who is not of us had to create to bring us into being.
Out of 4.